how do you view how yourself and humans should look at animals and why we should treat them how we do?
Well, I just see it as a logical extension of how we treat other human beings. Like when I look at other people, I don't consider that I want to reduce their suffering. I just consider their rights, like the rights that we've afforded to other human beings, their right not to be killed or enslaved or tortured and things like this. And I just extend that to the other animals in the animal kingdom.
Okay. Okay, well, I want to challenge a little bit of that. We'll do legally and then also just morally. So if you knew there was a fire and there was a person and a dog inside that building, would you have any separation for just you personally? We can even say that you wouldn't be judged by others. So you knew there was a fire, nobody was around, you could only save one. How
Mm.
would you view that?
Well, obviously, I am still going to be biased towards human beings in that situation. And I would still value human beings more than I would value a dog, right? Um,
Mhm.
of course, in that scenario, I'm not violating anybody's rights. I'm actually saving one of them. So this is just, it comes down to who I would prefer to save. But that said, if the person was, say, a 99-year-old person and the dog was a puppy, there might be a good reason to save the puppy as opposed to, say, the 99-year-old person.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that we should afford at least we should not harm animal. I think we should leave animals to their own selves. We shouldn't have them as part of our society necessarily. We should not have bred them to be pets. We should not have farm animals. They should live in the wild, and we as humans that are capable of building things should build ways to prevent them from like coming in our roads and getting hit by us, and we should not use them. But aside from that, I think I view it similar to you, where I I personally value humans more. So I would save the person as well. Um, yeah.
Yes, but in the scenario that you're talking about, this isn't a scenario where we're taking life. So in many ways, if there was a risk to your own life, you could quite easily say, "Well, I'm just not going to go and save anybody because I don't want to risk my own life." And I don't think that you'd be a bad person for doing that. You had the opportunity to potentially save one, but you decided that your life was too important to risk, and so you didn't do either. And I think that that's perfectly acceptable as well. Um, I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think at very least legally, because everything changes. Like if you're out in nature, I think there's slightly different answers for things. But when you create a society and the society is based on protections, then I think legally you, for the most part, shouldn't be forced to do anything. So, one argument whenever I'm discussing like the topic of abortion, I always mention if I come across a dying person and the only thing I have to do to save their lives is to pluck out one beard hair, I don't think legally I should have to do that, but morally I think I should. If I knew somebody that didn't pluck out that beard hair and let somebody die for that reason, I would not be friends with them, and I would make videos talking about how they were bad. They did a bad thing, but I don't
Yeah,
think that legally they should be charged for it.
but it's always a slippery slope, isn't it? Because then someone says, okay, if you only have to plug out one beard hair, then okay, maybe you're a bad person. But what about if it's two? What about if it's
Mm.
all the hairs on your face? What about if it's every single hair on your entire body? At what point do we say, okay, maybe that's too much?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so I don't think you have a moral obligation to plug out one beard hair, but I think that most people would say that if you didn't do it, then you wouldn't be a very kind person. That's for sure.